pipe being wound is carried across to be clamped in the left-hand grips of the welding machine. An awkward job, and one needing the assistance of men outside the shop to straighten up the pipeline before the grip can be correctly clamped down. The new pipe, still pulled by the winch, is guided into its place in the right-hand grip. Before clamping down, a sandglass test is made to check the timing of the weld. Controls are switched off and adjustments made to position the pipe in the grips. The bend in the rear being ample to allow the pipe and the moving head to surge forward at the moment of upset. The weld commences. After welding, it is not possible to remove the internal flash of metal. However, as this only occurs at 3/4 mile intervals, any resistance caused by this slight fin of metal is negligible. The pipeline is swung over to the winding line, and another 3/4 mile length is ready for the drum. The bow in the pipeline is straightened up, and the pipe is drawn forward into the snubber, where brake gear is applied to retard the forward movement as it is wound onto the drum, keeping the pipe between the snubber and the drum in tension with a pull of 2 to 5 tons. It is fitted with caterpillar tracks similar to those on the traverser, but instead of driving, these retard the pipeline as it journeys through the snubber, out of the snubber shop, up the catenary, through the cab, and so onto the drum. The cab, from a control inside, is moved at will by means of a chain, so keeping the pipe in proper alignment for the coil being wound. Wooden blocks are fitted near the flange to ensure correct nesting of the pipe. As the drum restarts, the turns are close packed with a mallet, the clips preventing the coils from touching and entrapping the water. The full-length wind takes 3 or 4 days to complete, and tidal problems have to be considered. At the end of a day's wind, tensioning gear is put into operation to take care of the considerable rise and fall of the drum due to variations in the depth of water in the dock. This keeps the last few coils tight on the drum while allowing enough play to avoid undue tension on the pipeline. The following morning, the process is reversed and the load of weights lowered to its normal position on the block. The wind continues until the tail end of the last pipeline reaches the welding shop. A pressure gauge is fitted to the tail end and an extension pipe fitted in the nose end. Carbon dioxide, soluble in petrol or water, is forced into the pipe to expel the air, and both ends are closed for 24 hours. Chart readings are taken during this period to ensure that pressure is maintained, which proves that there is no leakage in the 80 miles of pipeline. The nose end of the pipe that will start the next wind is pushed forward and shackled to the tail end of the wound pipe. Once more, the drum revolves, carrying the last 400 feet to the cab, where the tail end is shackled, leaving the nose end to await the next conundrum. A rope is now fixed to the tail end of the wound pipe, which will be fastened to an anchor on the sea bed to pull off the pipe and start the lay. For the last time, the drum rotates to take up the rope and complete the winding on HMS Conundrum, a vast floating bobbin weighing 1,600 tons when fully loaded, the weight of a destroyer, and presenting a towing problem greater than that of the Queen Mary. Now the Navy takes over. drum is finished and ready for sailing. In September 1944, the first conundrum sailed to make its contribution to the Pluto scheme, which guaranteed a delivery to the continent of millions of gallons of petrol without harbors, docks, or ships. On the invasion coast, the liberating forces were ready to receive this vital artery. Pipes and Victolic couplings were there in plenty. Royal Engineers had been rehearsed and trained to lift, carry, and couple those pipes blindfold. All this tied up with those innocent-looking bed and breakfast apartments on the south coast of England. In reality, pumping stations to be connected at a moment's notice to the vital Channel pipelines. Just imagine the day, little more than 2 years after the birth of the idea, when the pumps started to work and petrol flowed from England to points in France, Belgium, and eventually into the very heart of Germany, without which the thousands of tanks, trucks, and mobile machines of modern war would have been paralyzed and useless. So the 1,000-mile system of pipeline in England was extended to form a lifeline to the Allied forces, until no less than 20 lines were laid from the Isle of Wight and Dungeness to Cherbourg and Boulogne. Such was the miracle of Operation Pluto.